Hey there, I'm Caden Rains, and welcome to my basement. Today we've got the final four Skeletors for my shelfening, at least the final four for now, with all of these coming from the 2000X line, which are a little bit different in style, as we'll see from several of the other ones we've looked at already, including the 2000X Origins figure from a little while back now. But yeah, I think they're one of my favorite versions of Skeletor just in appearance. I think it's a good look, I guess is what I want to say. I know there's a lot more figures than what I've got here, and some of them might make their way to me in the future, but for now these are the four I've got that I will be adding to the shelf. So let's take a look at each of them. Although I say that, but we're going to actually start with two. Those being the fire and ice Skeletors, or it's like they were. We've got the ice arm. Well, this is fire armor Skeletor here, and ice armor Skeletor over here. And yes, they are repaints or reskins of each other. And if you didn't notice, yes, ice armor is got sort of a limp staff, because unfortunately, when you get things secondhand, that's going to happen. I've read that there's certain ways to fix it, and I just haven't gotten around to it, with the move and all. But I still thought they were both good-looking figures, and so I wanted to go with it. From what I saw of other figures of the line around this, when these came out, there seemed to be a whole fire and ice theme. First one, then the other. I believe fire was first, which, considering that the ice one is basically just a darker version with more blue and black than the fire, but has otherwise got the same fiery outlines just made to look like ice. That makes sense to me. The shoulders also look like pauldrons from Ragnaros in World of Warcraft, which I used to play a whole lot more than I'd like to admit. But yeah, I think that looks neat. It's got the fiery effect with the way that the cloth here or armor is cut out, the translucent fiery bits on his shoulders, his back, his neck here, and then the bronze looking things on his gauntlets and legging armor all looks really good. This one's not quite as bent, and both of these have the same play feature where, if it wants to work, there we go, where the top of the staff will shoot off. I don't know how common that was in all Skeletors from this line, but that's what these two do. I know that the other one I have with the staff from this line doesn't do that, so I assume it was just for these two. But yeah, overall, they both look good. Like I said, the ice one, the frost armor, is just a reskin. It's a nice looking reskin. It's not just like a slightly different coat of paint. They took all the brighter fiery colors and made them blues and blacks instead of the oranges, yellows, and bronzes of the fire one. So even though it's still got that fiery look, you can look at it and say, well, those are icicles. This is fire. These are icicles. Okay? Okay, they're different. They're different, okay? That's why you need to buy both. And I did buy both. Not when they were new. The company didn't make any money off me. Sellers on eBay made money off me, but I don't think I spent too much on them. I know this one seemed to, for whatever reason, frost armor, maybe they didn't make as many of them, but that one I had to search for a little bit more. But anyway, even though they're reskins, repaints of each other, where it's mostly just different plastic and paint, I still think it's a good looking figure, both of them, because both of their staffs are bent. They don't really stand up well on their own, so they will be leaning up against other figures in the display, which is kind of a bummer. And maybe if I can figure out how to straighten that, it will help in that regard. But I still think they look neat. I like them. And as I've said before, that's basically what my whole collection is about, is do I like it or not? So that's our Flame and Frost Armor Skeletors. Let's move on to Battle Sound Skeletor. And disclaimer, he will not be making any battle sounds because I don't have a screwdriver. Well, I probably do, but I have not gotten into him to reload his batteries normally. And even if I did that, pressing the button still might not work because he's old. And I don't know how great the quality assurance was. That being said, he's also shiny. Look at that shiny armor there. If you're going to make battle sounds, you might as well be shiny while doing it. And if you're the person who owns you is too lazy to figure out if you still can make your battle sounds, it's good to be shiny anyways. And one thing I've seen, a lot of other Skeletors in this line came with this dual sword. I don't know if that's how big a thing that was in the show, but it comes with him. It's not like the Sword of Power and his sword put together. It's just what he comes with. And then the staff as normal. So again, I think it's a good looking figure. Maybe one day I'll figure out if he can actually make sound still or not, but it's different enough in the greaves, the neck armor, even the spikes coming off his helmet, that I think it stands out, especially since it's got a different staff than the Fire and Ice ones, which is why, like I said, I don't think that was outside of the Fire and Ice line was a common thing. So the fact that I still have both staff heads for those is pretty neat. But that brings us to our final 2000X figure, and that's Snake Crush Skeletor. And I have to say, this might be one of my favorite Skeletors ever. Now, why? Because he's got giant snake heads for hands. He will crush you with his skeleton, his skull snakes. Yeah, I just think it's a good design. Whoever came up with this, good job. My one gripe is while the right hand skull will open like that, it won't lock. It'll always drop down. The left hand one does not close at all. So you've got one that's always open and one that can open, but on its own will always be closed. I guess you could put like another character's arm or head in there and that would keep it open. But on its own, you got one open and one closed, which if you could lock them in some way, that might be better, but it is what it is. I also think that his skull armor on his chest giving way into the snake hood here that act as his shoulders, his pauldrons, I think that's a really great design. And then, the snake helmet with his skull inside. I do kind of wish there's something with all of them. I do think his skull should be bigger on all of the 2000X figures, but on the whole, I still think it's really well done. Even the bits here on the back that hold his chest plate on, they've got like this scale effect. Not as much as on the shoulders, but still like this pattern that it's a nice detail. And then the arms are rubber, and they've got a wire inside, so you can move them around. I kind of keep them roughly like this. So get his foot down there before my OCD kicks in. But yeah, on the whole, if I had to pick one Skeletor, I might pick this one. Now, I'd have to look at them all in one place, which luckily there's a certain shelf we can do that on, but I really like this Skeletor. When I found it, I was like, oh, I need that. And I got it. As you can see, I got it. I am happy to have Snake Crush Skeletor. He's my man. He's going to also act as a brace for the other ones for the moment. Like I said, Fire and Ice can't really stand on their own. So there we go. Anyway, so there's the four 2000X figures I've got right now. Like I said, I know there's others. I don't even have the basic Skeletor from the line outside of the Origins one. But I like their designs. I think they're different enough from normal Skeletors, normal, but close enough that, I mean, you know who it is when you look at it. Even if you covered his face, which you can barely see the Snake Crush one's face because of how big the hood is, you know it's Skeletor. You know it. So anyway, let's go find a place on the shelf to add these guys in. All right, and we're just going to put you right here for now. Likely some of this is going to change, but for now, I've got Battle Sound, Flame Armor, and Snake Crush Skeletors on this side with the snake. Yes, I did have that planned. It was Snake Crush and Snake Pit. It needed to go together. And then I've got Frost Armor Skeletor hanging out over here because he won't stand up on his own. So anyway, there are all the Skeletors I currently own. And like I said, there will be more. There's at least 2 more coming out this year. And I'll probably rework this display a little bit. But how do you feel about it? Do you like the way I've put all of the Skeletors together? Do you think I should have done it a different way? Are there any of these figures that you have that you think I might have a better way to display, or maybe should put more prominently? Or are there any of these that you're like, why do you have that in your display? Because, I mean, the main reason is because they're blue boys with skulls for heads, but on the whole, you know, I like these figures. That's why I have them. And, you know, I'd like to kind of see if you have any thoughts on them as well. So if you do, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed your time in my basement, and I will see you in the next one. Later.